Parenting is and remains one of the most important decisions in any couple's lifetime. Much like how relationships themselves have evolved, parenting and the decisions related to it have changed over the years as well. No longer are decisions about parenting limited solely to the number of children, with children themselves being simply an expectation. Now, prospective parents are making more conscious decisions about when, how, and even whether or not to have children. In years past, having children was almost a necessity, especially in agrarian society, with children assisting in many household activities. However, in a post-industrial world, children are no longer needed to assist in economic support, and we see parents being able to support their families on their own. Such changes allow for more freedoms in choosing when to become parents. Now, factors such as income and education weigh heavily into the decision of when and whether or not to have children. Especially in a modern society where women are more encouraged to work rather than form a family unit, as well as men continuing to retain their own economic relevance, more and more households have a dual income. And while this does have a positive economic effect on the couple, the tendency to prioritize careers and education for both partners results in many economically stable couples who either choose not to or choose to delay in making a family. One of the primary concerns for parents today, especially those of which actively plan for their family and children, is the pursuit of education. With more men and women seeking higher education, marriage is often delayed, and the same remains true with children. These factors result in many, especially amongst educated couples, having children much later. Although it does come with an increased risk of certain birth defects and complications, this risk doesn't become dangerously high until much later in life, and often the benefit of having a stable household outweighs such risks. Career decisions are also incredibly important considerations. Education, especially college, is often a means to an end, that being a successful career. And even past attaining a 4-year degree, couples may choose to both enter the workforce so as to use their education for its intended purpose. This can delay the decision to have a family, as both prospective parents will continue to have much of their time occupied. In the West, children are no longer necessary for supporting a family, especially when more and more women are choosing to have careers of their own. This decision, however, can often come at the expense of having a family. While this is certainly not necessarily a negative change, it is a choice that young couples need to be aware of in order to plan for their goals and priorities, whether this be a career or a family. Having a dual income can be incredibly helpful for many families. However, it does come at the cost of having a family, as with two parents working, the time that they can spend raising children is severely limited. This represents a wider societal change that favors personal achievement and goals over those of the family unit, seen by those couples who choose to prioritize themselves over a family. This change has significant effects not only on the rates of childbirth, but the way children are raised as well. With both parents working, the likelihood of a child receiving care from a non-relative increases by a factor of 2 to 3. Additionally, there is a growing number of women who are single mothers by choice. This change is, again, a reflection of the current social climate and attitudes towards parenting, that being a focus on the financial ability to have children and meeting their base needs, whilst risking neglecting the emotional and developmental needs of children. These mothers are often older and certainly do possess the ability to financially support their children. Yet in these cases, there is even less ability for the only parent to provide emotionally for her child. While being a single parent does not necessarily reflect poorly on the parent responsible for the child, and in fact can actually show resilience and adaptability on the part of the single parent, doing so by choice certainly might, as not only are the children of parents who are separated or never married nearly 5 times as likely to be placed in an organized care facility, the absence of either a father or a mother contributes to an unstable home life and a negative impact on the child's emotional and cognitive development. It is for these reasons that it is important, as a society, we encourage traditional family structure, while still providing the necessary support for single parents, as such support network can help alleviate some of the stresses upon the parents, as well as some of the negative aspects associated with single parenting on the development of the child. Previously, we had discussed some of the negative outcomes of prioritizing careers and financial stability for prospective parents. While there are indeed many negative outcomes associated with these newer styles of parenting, we must also acknowledge that there are an equal number of benefits, and both sides must be accounted for when making decisions about becoming a parent. The focus on economic stability and educational advancement means that these families tend to have children at an older age, which does carry some risk. However, these parents are often more effectively able to provide care for their children economically and are more educated in child development, which is shown to be a very significant positive factor in children's lives. These two factors are positively linked to IQ, educational achievement, and emotional capability. Additionally, with the expanded modern social circles as a result of the internet, new parents are more effectively able to communicate with other parents and other support structures, meaning that they are more effectively prepared to tackle the challenges of parenthood. One of the major societal challenges of parenting in the modern age is the difference of fertility rates between economic classes and racial groups. Fertility rates tend to be higher in groups more likely to receive some form of government assistance, and as of 2015, an average of 39.2% of children are receiving means-tested benefits. While a more detailed analysis is certainly necessary to determine the primary factors leading to this, the result is a significant disparity in fertility rates depending on economic status. Knowledge of such circumstances may result in more educated couples to be more fearful of bringing children into such a world, as we see the percentage of women aged 30 who are childless has increased significantly since 1976. More educated couples tend to have fewer children for a variety of reasons, often due to their ability to make more effective decisions about childbirth. Meanwhile, less educated families, or families in poverty, tend to have higher fertility rates, increasing the economic strain on themselves and the strain on the country as a whole. These effects come not only from their increased chance to need government assistance, which grows with the burden of having children, but also for the negative impact such living situations have on the development of the children themselves. We had mentioned the benefits of having educated and economically stable parents. However, unfortunately, the reverse is also true. Children born in poverty and with less educated parents tend to suffer in exactly the same categories we see the children of more successful couples excel in. And as a result, more and more members of each new generation are being raised in inadequate arrangements, which can further a vicious cycle of poverty. We live in a rapidly evolving world. Society and culture are in constant flux, and each have their own impact on modern parents. While there are certainly challenges associated with modern parenting, and many negative aspects associated with the shift away from traditional family structure, as these problems continue to present themselves, I believe that we will begin to see a shift back to a more family-focused culture, and find an effective balance between prioritizing personal economic success and effective support for the family unit.